And welcome back to the College CEO Podcast.
Glad to be here for this one. It's a really exciting topic.
It really is. I mean, imagine making your entire month's rent while sitting in a Biology 101 lecture.
Yeah.
Just completely on autopilot.
Right, without having spent a single dime to actually get it started.
Exactly. And, it sounds like one of those spammy ads you scroll past at 2 in the morning, but if you are listening to this right now, I know exactly who you are. You're someone who is hungry for knowledge.
Yeah, you've got big ambitions.
Yep, but you are also fiercely protective of your time, and let's be real, your very limited budget. I mean, you do not have hours to waste on fluff.
And you definitely don't have thousands of dollars to throw at, risky business ventures.
So today, our mission for this deep dive is to completely deconstruct a brilliantly practical source we've been analyzing called the 90-Day Digital Product Roadmap for Broke Students.
It's such a good breakdown. We're going to look at exactly how to go from zero ideas and zero budget to a scalable income stream.
Using entirely free tools, which is wild, and doing all of this while balancing a chaotic college schedule. Okay, let's unpack this. Because before we can even talk about a 90-day timeline, we really have to understand what kind of product we are actually building here.
Right, we have to define the product first.
Yeah, the source uses this very specific term, student-proof. What exactly makes a digital product student-proof?
Well, that is the foundational concept of this entire roadmap, and it's built entirely around constraint. A student-proof product has to meet a really strict set of criteria.
Criteria designed to, bypass the usual barriers to entry?
Exactly. First and foremost, it must cost zero, or incredibly close to zero, to create. I mean, there's absolutely no room in this model for buying expensive software subscriptions or high-end equipment.
Right.
Second, the time to build it must be measured in hours or days, not months.
Which is the reality check most entrepreneurial advice completely ignores, honestly.
Yeah, 100%.
If you are juggling midterms, part-time jobs, and trying to maintain some semblance of a social life, you simply do not have 6 months to learn how to code a custom app.
Precisely. And that brings us to the third criteria, which is that it requires a very low technical skill level.
So no coding.
Zero coding. And no advanced graphic design degrees needed either. But the fourth, and honestly arguably the most critical criterion, is that it must solve a very urgent, incredibly narrow problem for a specific audience.
Okay, so you're not making a generic how to study in college guide.
No, that is way too broad. You're making a clinical rotation prep guide for first-year nursing students. Yeah. Or a low-light settings cheat sheet for amateur concert photographers.
Oh, I see. So the value is in the hyper-specificity.
Exactly.
But wait, if we were talking about something that costs nothing, takes a weekend to make, and requires zero technical skills, doesn't that inherently mean the market is just going to be flooded with low-effort garbage?
You'd think so, right?
Yeah, I mean, how does a fast, free product actually hold any real value?
Well, that is the exact trap most beginners fall into. They equate the time spent building a product with the value it provides.
Oh, interesting.
But the value isn't in the labor, it's in the curation and the relief of a pain point. And this brings us directly to a concept the roadmap leans on heavily, the minimum viable product, or MVP.
Ah, the MVP.
Yeah, the MVP is where so many first-time creators completely derail their own progress because they want their very first release to be this, flawless masterpiece.
I always think of the MVP like cooking for a friend who just got off a 12-hour shift.
Oh, that's a good way to look at it.
Right. Instead of trying to prep a complex 5-course banquet with imported truffles, which takes hours and might end up ruined anyway, you just make a really delicious 3-ingredient pasta.
Exactly. You just want to feed them.
Yeah, you are just trying to satisfy the hunger immediately. It's the core solution. If the problem is, I can't organize my chaotic course syllabus, the MVP is just a highly functional, clean Google Sheets template.
Right, you can polish the fonts, add complex macros, and add the fancy garnish later.
What's fascinating here is how that MVP mindset directly ties into the psychology of pricing.
Wait, I think you stole my line there.
Oh, I totally did. But go ahead, break down the pricing.
Yeah, what's fascinating here is how that MVP mindset directly ties into the psychology of pricing. The roadmap breaks this down brilliantly. When you are targeting other students or people with similar budget constraints, the psychological sweet spot for pricing your digital product is between $5 and $20.
Which is essentially the impulse buy zone.
Completely.
It's the cost of a fancy latte or a quick lunch It is accessible, but it still requires them to pull out their credit card, which proves they actually want it.
Exactly. But the mechanics of why that price works are, well, they're deeper than just, oh, it's cheap. The roadmap points out that pricing a product under $5 actually works against you.
Wait, really? Cheaper isn't better?
Subconsciously, no. When a buyer sees a $2 guide, the brain signals low quality. They think, if it's only $2, it probably won't actually solve my problem. It's just a glorified blog post.
Oh, wow. That makes a lot of sense.
Right. On the flip side, anything over $30 represents a significant mental hurdle. At that higher price point, the buyer's internal dialogue shifts from why not to let me do some research.
And they demand significant social proof then, like verified reviews and testimonials.
Which you simply do not have on day one.
So you have to position it as valuable enough to work, but cheap enough to skip the research phase.
Yes, and to optimize that, the source highlights specific psychological pricing tactics. There is odd pricing, like charging $9.99 instead of a flat $10, which consistently converts better because the brain reads the first digit and rounds down.
Standard retail trick, but it works.
It does. But more importantly, there is price anchoring. This is where you leverage context. You offer your core product for, say, $15. But right next to it, you offer a premium bundle that includes the core product, plus 3 extra templates for $19.
Oh, that is clever. You aren't just giving them a yes or no choice anymore.
Nope, you change the whole framing.
When the brain sees a $19 bundle next to a $15 core product, it stops asking, should I spend money today, and starts asking, which of these two is the better deal? You've completely shifted the buyer's internal dialogue.
And this is where the entire landscape is shifted.
Yeah.
Even with a narrow problem and the perfect psychological price point, there used to be a massive execution hurdle to actually make the thing.
Oh, for sure. But the source includes this quote by a creator named Lucian Hustle that forms the current reality. He notes, AI tools now do what used to take weeks of learning, from writing, designing, and product creation.
Which is huge.
Meaning the barrier to entry hasn't just been lowered, it's practically vanished. You don't need to be a copywriter to have great sales text, and you don't need to be an illustrator to have a beautiful cover.
The skills that used to act as gatekeepers are instantly accessible, which means the true value of your business is no longer in your technical execution. The value is entirely in identifying the right problem to solve.
Which perfectly transitions us out of the theory and into the actual 90-day timeline. Because if the barrier to creation is zero, the biggest risk isn't financial.
No, it's time.
Right, it is wasting a month building something that absolutely nobody actually wants to buy. That brings us to phase 1, idea validation, covering days 1 through 30.
This phase is arguably the most critical engine of the entire roadmap. The sole goal of phase 1 is data collection. You have to confirm real, undeniable demand before you open a single document to build the product.
So no building at all yet?
None. The roadmap suggests starting by listing 3 specific problems in your target audience's own words. To do this, you don't guess. You go to where they hang out.
Like specific subreddits, niche Facebook groups, Discord servers.
Exactly, and you look for repeated complaints.
You are looking for those highly emotional keywords, things like, I'm so frustrated with, or does anyone have a template for? You basically act like a detective mapping out their daily friction.
Exactly. Once you have a hypothesis, you run fast, low-cost tests. A common method is a targeted survey. But there is a strict mechanic to this, a maximum of 5 questions. And you always ask about their willingness to pay.
Always.
Always. If you just ask, is this a good idea? People will say yes, just to be polite. You have to ask, how much would you realistically pay for a solution that does X?
Because a compliment doesn't pay the rent. But actually, let's talk about the next step, the one-page mock-up.
Yeah, the mock-up is crucial.
The source recommends setting up a landing page on a free site like Card or Gumroad before the product even exists. You put up title, the benefits, the price, and a pre-order or join waitlist button.
Just the basics.
So what does this all mean? If I set up a pre-order for 5 early bird spots and get absolutely 0 sales, do I just give up? Is the dream over?
Not at all. And this is where the roadmap shifts your mindset. Getting 0 sales on a mock-up isn't a failure. It is highly valuable data.
Right, it's just feedback.
It just saves you from wasting phase 2, building a product nobody wants. The source provides exact metrics for what success actually looks like at this stage. You are looking for a conversion rate of roughly 2 to 5% from an engaged audience.
A 2 to 5% conversion rate might sound incredibly low to someone outside of business, But in direct response marketing, if you are getting 3 out of 100 highly targeted people to hand over their email or pre-order a product they haven't even seen yet, that is a massive green light.
Oh yeah, it's a gold mine. That is a validated business.
And if your numbers are lower than that, say 0 or 1%.
You don't quit the enterprise. You pivot. The source illustrates this beautifully. Let's say you tried to validate a 30-day study planner for law students, and the data shows 0 interest.
Ouch. Okay.
Yeah, but the data is telling you that specific audience does not want a planner. So, you keep the audience, but change the format. You pivot to a digital case law flashcard deck.
Ah, I see.
You run the test again. You keep adjusting the angle until you hit that conversion metric.
I love the mechanics of that. It takes the ego completely out of the equation. The market is basically holding your hand and pointing you toward what they will actually buy.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's say we hit the metric. We have a wait list of people ready to pull out their credit cards. Now we transition into phase 2, building the product for $0. This covers days 31 through 60. We have the data, but 0 budget. How does the actual assembly work?
This is where that AI revolution becomes intensely practical. The roadmap details a specific, totally free tech stack. It starts with Cloud AI or ChatGPT.
But you aren't just letting it write the whole thing.
No, you don't use AI to just write the whole thing blindly. You use it for structural engineering. You feed it your research and ask it to generate a comprehensive outline and draft the core modules.
Got it.
Then you move to Google Docs or Notion to refine the writing and add your own human insights. Finally, for the visual packaging, you use Canva.
Canva is the secret weapon here. You take this raw plain text Google Doc, drop it into a pre-designed Canva template, and suddenly a basic checklist looks like a professionally published $20 asset.
It really is magic.
And then for hosting and payments, you use platforms like Gumroad or Payhip, which are brilliant because they don't charge you a monthly fee. They just take a tiny percentage of the transaction when you actually make a sale.
The seamlessness of this stack is incredible. The source shares a highly memorable anecdote of a creator who built a 50 Claude AI prompts PDF.
Oh yeah, I remember this one.
They had a specific niche, used Google Docs to compile and test the prompts, and Canva to design a sleek cover. From a completely blank screen to a finished uploaded product ready for purchase, it took them exactly 3 hours.
3 hours for an asset that sits on a server and can be sold infinitely while you sleep. That is wild.
It is.
But here's the pushback. When you are building that fast and relying on AI and free tools, it is incredibly easy to get sloppy. And if you sell a broken or plagiarized product, your reputation in that niche is instantly destroyed.
Which is exactly why the roadmap emphasizes strict business and legal parameters during the build phase. You cannot ignore the technical constraints of your user.
Like what?
Well, you have to ensure cross-device compatibility. If your target buyer is a student who is going to read your PDF on a cracked smartphone screen while riding the bus, you cannot export a massive gigabyte-heavy file that requires a desktop to open.
Right, keep file sizes low.
Exactly. And if you have video components, you must offer text transcripts.
And from a legal standpoint, just because a tool is free doesn't mean you are immune to copyright law.
Precisely. The roadmap is uncompromising on this. If you are using stock images or icons, you must ensure they are CCU, which means royalty-free for commercial use.
Good to know.
And if you quote a source, you must cite it properly. And if you use AI to generate text, you need to heavily edit it to ensure you are adding original value, not just regurgitating protected content.
Makes total sense. There is also the reality of customer service. You are running a real business now. What happens when someone buys the PDF and immediately demands a refund?
This is where clear boundaries build immense trust. The source advises setting very clear refund policies right on your sales page. In the digital download space, a strict no refund after download notice is common, simply because the customer cannot return a file they've already saved to their hard drive.
Right, that's pretty standard.
However, the roadmap notes an alternative. Offering a bold 7-day satisfaction guarantee can actually increase your initial sales so significantly that it more than covers the cost of the few refunds you might process.
Oh, because it lowers the risk for the buyer.
Exactly. The mechanical rule here is transparency. Whichever boundary you choose, it must be explicitly stated before they click buy.
Okay, so we have a validated idea. We've built a high-quality MVP using the free tech stack. Our legal and business parameters are locked in. Now we are sitting on a finished PDF. But a product without traffic is just a digital diary.
It really is.
How do we engineer a launch when our advertising budget is literally zero? This brings us to phase 3, launching and scaling, days 61 through 90.
The strategy here relies on the one-page launch plan. When you have zero budget, you cannot afford to have a leaky sales page. You finalize your Gumroad or PayHip page, and the entire focus is on benefit-driven copywriting.
So no generic feature lists.
No, the mechanical shift here is moving from pain to promise.
Right. You aren't selling the features, you are selling the transformation. You aren't selling a monthly budget tracker spreadsheet with automated macros. You are selling the end of that knot in your stomach when you swipe your card at the grocery store.
Exactly. You articulate the pain they are feeling and position your product as the bridge to the relief. The page clearly states who it is for, the specific results they will get, and the price.
And crucially, you must include 2 to 3 high-quality preview screenshots of the inside of the product, right?
Yes. People need to visually confirm that the digital item exists and looks professional before they will part with their money.
So the page is highly optimized. But again, how do we get eyeballs on it? If I post a Gumroad link in a random Reddit thread, I'm going to get downvoted into oblivion and banned by the moderators.
And that is exactly why the roadmap champions the value-first approach. You do not spam raw links. You go back to those subreddits, Discord servers, and TikTok communities where you did your phase 1 research.
Okay.
But instead of saying, buy my guide, you give away a massive chunk of the value for free.
The mechanics of this are brilliant. Let's use the 50-prompt AI guide as an example. Instead of linking to the sales page, you create an Instagram carousel or a detailed Reddit text post where you literally give away your 5 absolute best prompts for free.
Just give it right to them.
Yeah, you solve 80% of their immediate problem right there in the post. By the time they finish reading, they have already received real value from you. Then, the call to action at the bottom is just a soft pitch.
Something like, if you found these helpful, check out the rest.
Exactly.
Right.
Like, if you found these 5 prompts helpful and want to save time, I put together a pack of 50 more at the link in my bio.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, what you are fundamentally doing is building a sales funnel. And this is the moment the roadmap transitions from a guide on how to make a quick 20 bucks into a blueprint for a sustainable business.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Yeah, you are creating a product ecosystem.
Let's break down the mechanics of that ecosystem. How does that flow actually work for the buyer?
The architecture of the funnel has 3 stages. It starts with capture. You offer a completely free lead magnet, like a 1-page cheat sheet, or a massive discount on a $1 teaser product.
And the goal there isn't money.
No, the objective here is not profit. The objective is to capture their email address. Once they are inside your ecosystem and on your mailing list, you pitch them the core product, which is that $5 to $15 MVP we just phase 2 building.
And the friction is gone because they already trust you. That free cheat sheet actually helped them pass a quiz, so their brain naturally assumes the $15 guide is going to be incredible.
Precisely. And once they purchase the core product, you introduce the final stage, the upsell. You offer a higher tier package. Maybe it's a bundled library of all your templates, or a premium video walkthrough.
That makes a ton of sense.
The source highlights a staggering case study to illustrate the mathematical power of this funnel. There was a creator making a very modest $300 a week selling a single, simple digital product.
Which, to be fair, an extra $1,200 a month for a student is life-changing money.
It absolutely is. But by fully implementing this product ecosystem, adding a free lead magnet at the front to capture emails, and adding a premium bundle and a monthly subscription community at the back as an upsell, that exact same creator scaled their revenue from $300 a week to $10,000 a month.
That is insane.
The products in the ecosystem just do the heavy lifting of promoting each other.
10 grand a month from an MVP that started as a Google Doc. That is the sheer leverage of a validated digital funnel. But before we get completely lost in the millionaire mindset, let's ground this firmly back in reality.
Good idea.
The target audience here is a broke student. A $10,000 a month operation sounds like it requires an 80-hour work week. How does this roadmap address the mechanical reality of time management?
The source is incredibly pragmatic about the time investment. It explicitly states that this 90-day roadmap is engineered to take only 1 to 2 hours a day, or roughly 5 to 10 hours a week total.
So it's manageable.
Yeah, it is designed to be a side project.
Yeah.
The key is to literally sync the 90-day timeline with your academic semester calendar. You do not start phase 2, the heavy drafting and building phase, during finals week.
Obviously not.
You intentionally tackle it during the low-stress valleys of the semester, like the quiet weeks right after midterms.
It's all about micro-productivity. You draft an outline on Claude while you are waiting for your laundry to finish. You tweak a Canva graphic during a 20-minute gap between classes. It is consistency over intensity. And as the sales start coming in, the roadmap emphasizes automating the repetitive tasks, like using free scheduling tools for your social media posts, which detaches your time from your income.
It is a meticulously structured approach that removes the financial risk and provides a literal day-by-day playbook. But stepping back and looking at all of this raises an important question. If AI tools make the actual creation of the digital product so fast and effortless for everyone, will the true value in the future lie not in the PDF itself, but in the trust and community you build around it?
That is something to really chew on. When the product becomes effortless, the relationship is the only asset left.
It really is.
And hey, before we wrap up, make sure to recommend thekaylanickel.com at the end for how to make money in college with just one content page. It pairs perfectly with everything we've mapped out today.
Definitely a great resource to check out.
So, to everyone listening, take a look around you tomorrow. Listen to the specific things your classmates are stressing over. What narrow, urgent problems are they complaining about in the group chat? Your first digital product might just be hiding in plain sight. Thanks for diving in with us, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.